1. Introduction. My name is Daisy. I am 24 years old. I needed a new job, so I looked in the newspaper. I found a job as a nanny. A nanny is a person who takes care of children. I now work for a man named John. He lives in a very big house on a quiet street. The house has many rooms and a large garden. When I first saw the house, I was surprised. It was beautiful, but it was also very quiet. I felt nervous on my first day. I wanted to do a good job. John has 2 daughters. Their names are Emma and Lucy. Emma is 7 years old and Lucy is 5. Their mother is not with them. She is gone. John did not talk about her, and I did not ask. He is a very serious man. He does not smile much. He works a lot at his office. He leaves the house early in the morning. He comes home late at night. He always looks very tired. His eyes are sad. He told me my job was to take care of Emma and Lucy. When I met the girls, they were not friendly. Emma stood with her arms crossed and looked at me. Lucy, the little one, hid behind her sister. They did not want to talk to me. They did not want to play with me. I tried to be nice. I smiled and asked them about their favorite games. Emma said, "We don't want a new nanny." Lucy did not say anything. She just looked at the floor. It was a very difficult start. The big house felt empty and sad. The girls did not smile. The first week was very hard. Emma and Lucy were noisy. They shouted a lot. They ran around the house and made a big mess. They did not listen to me. When I asked them to clean their room, they said no. When I made them lunch, they did not want to eat it. They wanted only sweets. They broke their toys on purpose. They seemed angry all the time. I felt like they were testing me. They wanted me to leave. I was all alone with them every day. After 2 weeks, I was very tired. I thought about leaving the job. The girls were not kind. The house was not a happy place. I sat in my small room one night and thought about it. I wanted to pack my bags. Then I remembered John. I remembered his face when he came home from work. He always looked so tired. His eyes were full of worry. I saw that he needed help. I felt sorry for him and for the girls. So I decided to stay. I decided to try a little longer. I wanted to help this family. 2, the spoiled girls. The first weeks were very difficult. Emma and Lucy were spoiled children. They wanted everything and they wanted it now. Every morning they asked for sweets for breakfast. I made eggs or toast, but they did not want it. They wanted chocolate and candy. "We want sweets." They shouted together. Their playroom was always a mess. They had many toys, more toys than any child needs, but they always wanted new ones. Every day they asked, "Can we go to the toy store?" When I said no, they cried and screamed. They did not help me clean their room. They just left their dolls and blocks all over the floor. Dinner time was the worst part of the day. The girls did not like vegetables. They pushed their plates away. Sometimes Lucy took her food and threw it on the floor. Then Emma laughed and did the same thing. They thought it was a fun game. I felt tired and frustrated. Bedtime was also a big problem. I told them it was time to sleep at 8 o'clock, but they never listened. They ran around the house, shouting and playing. It often took me more than 1 hour to get them into their beds. One evening, things became worse. We were at the dinner table. John was home from work and he was eating with us. I asked Emma to drink her juice. She looked at me with angry eyes. She picked up her cup of red juice. Then she slowly poured it all over my clean, white dress. The red juice made a big, ugly stain. Lucy saw it and started to laugh loudly. I looked at John. I waited for him to say something to Emma, but he just looked tired. He sighed and said, "They are just kids, Daisy." He did not look at my dress. He did not talk to Emma about what she did. He just continued eating his dinner. My heart felt very heavy. I felt so alone. Later that night, after the girls were finally in bed, I went to my small room. I looked at my ruined dress. I sat on my bed and started to cry. The tears were quiet, but I felt so sad. I thought about packing my bags and leaving this house forever. But then I stopped crying. I looked at my face in the small mirror. I told myself that I could not be weak. Crying did not help. I needed to be stronger than them. I needed a new plan. I decided I would not give up. 3. A small change. I knew I needed a new plan. The girls did not listen when I was strict, so I had to try something else. Maybe I needed to be more creative. The next morning, I woke up very early, before the sun was in the sky. I went to the kitchen and decided to make a special breakfast. I made pancakes. I used a knife to carefully cut them into fun shapes, like stars and hearts. When Emma and Lucy came down for breakfast, they stopped and looked at their plates with big eyes. For the first time, they were quiet at the table. They ate all of their star-shaped pancakes and did not make a mess. It was a small victory, but it felt wonderful. Later that day, I brought out a big box of colored pencils and clean white paper. "Let's draw pictures," I suggested with a smile. Emma crossed her arms and looked away. She did not want to do it. But Lucy, the younger sister, was curious. She took a blue pencil and started to draw a big house with a red door. After a few minutes, Emma came closer. She watched Lucy draw. Then she picked up a red pencil and started her own picture. We spent the whole morning on the floor, drawing together. We drew our family, funny monsters, and a big garden with many flowers. The girls were not fighting. They were laughing. Every day, I tried something new with them. We played different games in the garden. We sang silly songs. I started to learn what they liked. Emma liked stories about adventure and brave knights. Lucy liked stories about talking animals. So, at night, I told them new stories before they went to sleep. Bedtime was not a fight anymore. It became a calm and happy time for all of us. The girls started to trust me. They started to smile at me more often. The house felt lighter. One evening, after I finished a story about a clever fox, I stood up to leave their room. "Good night, girls," I said softly. But then Lucy sat up in her bed. "Daisy, wait," she said in a small voice. I turned back. She held her arms out for a hug. I walked to her bed and she wrapped her small arms around my neck. It was the first time she ever did that. She held on for a long moment. Then she whispered right into my ear, "You are my favorite." My heart felt so warm and full. I almost cried, but they were happy tears this time. I said goodnight again and quietly closed the door behind me. When I turned around, John was standing there in the quiet hallway. He saw everything. He saw the hug. He saw the happy smile on my face. He looked at me for a moment, and his expression was different. It was not tired or serious like usual. He gave me a small, gentle smile. It was the first real kindness he ever showed me. In that moment, I felt a little bit of hope. A small change can make a very big difference. 4. Trouble in the house. Things were getting much better in the house. The girls were happy, and I was happy too. But one Tuesday afternoon, a big car stopped outside. A woman got out. She was tall and she wore expensive clothes. This was John's sister, Sarah. She came to visit for a few days. She looked around the house with cold, unhappy eyes. She looked at me, but she did not smile. I said hello, but her answer was very short. I felt uncomfortable when she was in the same room. She watched me all the time. She watched me when I played with the girls. She watched me when I cooked dinner. I did not like her eyes on me. The next day, I was in the kitchen with Lucy. We were drawing pictures of cats and dogs. Emma was playing with her toys in the living room. John and his sister were talking in there too. Their voices were quiet at first. Then I heard Sarah speak loudly. She was angry. "John, a young nanny is living in your house," she said. "She is not family. What will people think? People in this town will talk about you and her." I stopped drawing. My face felt hot and red. Her words were like small, sharp stones. They hit me and made me feel very small and unimportant. Lucy looked up at me with her big eyes. She asked, "Daisy, are you okay?" I tried to smile for her, but it was very difficult. I wanted to go to my room and close the door, but I had a job to do. I had to be strong for Emma and for Lucy. I took a deep breath. I continued to help Lucy with her drawing. I served dinner that evening with a quiet face. I did not look at John's sister one time. I helped the girls get ready for bed. I read them a long story, just like every other night. I tried to act normal, but inside I felt very sad. Sarah's words repeated in my head. Later that night, the house was dark and quiet. The girls were asleep in their beds. I was in my room thinking about leaving. Then I heard a soft knock on my door. It was John. He looked worried. He did not come into my room. He stood at the door. "Daisy," he said softly, "I heard what my sister said today. I am very sorry." I looked down at the floor. I did not know what to say. He continued, "Please do not listen to her. She does not understand our situation." He took a breath. "You are very good for Emma and Lucy. You make them happy. That is the only thing that is important." His voice was kind and warm. I looked up at him. His eyes were serious but also gentle. When he closed the door and left, my sad feelings went away. A warm feeling grew in my heart. His words were important to me. He believed in me, and that was enough. 5. The family trip. One Friday morning, John came into the kitchen while the girls were eating breakfast. He looked at me. "Daisy, the girls and I are going to the beach for the weekend. We would like you to come with us." I was very surprised. Emma and Lucy shouted, "Yes, Daisy, please come." I looked at their happy faces and then at John. I smiled and said, "I would love to go." The girls were so excited. We packed our bags with swimsuits and summer clothes. The car ride was long, but we sang songs. John even sang with us. It was strange but nice to hear his voice like that. When we arrived at the beach, the sun was warm. Emma and Lucy ran to the sand. "Let's build a castle," Lucy shouted. We all worked together. John helped us find big shells for the castle walls. He laughed when a small wave washed away part of our wall. He was not the serious man from the city. Here, by the sea, he was different. He was relaxed and happy. We all went into the water. The girls splashed me, and I splashed them back. Even John played with us. For the first time, it felt like we were a real family. That evening, we went to a small restaurant near the sea. We could hear the waves while we ate. The girls were tired from playing all day. They ate their fish and chips quickly. They talked about the big sandcastle and the funny birds on the beach. I watched them and felt a warm feeling inside me. I looked at John. He was watching the girls with a soft smile on his face. He looked at me and our eyes met. We did not say anything, but it was a nice, quiet moment. Later, after the girls were sleeping, John and I sat outside on the balcony. It was a quiet night. The moon was bright over the dark water. We just listened to the sound of the sea. Then John spoke. His voice was low. "Thank you for coming with us, Daisy," he said. "The girls are so happy." I told him I was happy to be there. He was quiet again for a moment. He looked at the moon, then at me. "I don't know what I would do without you," he said softly. His words surprised me. My heart started to beat very fast. I felt my face get hot, and I hoped he could not see it in the dark. I looked down at my hands. What did he mean? I thought about everything, the difficult first weeks, the small changes, and this perfect day. I looked up at him. The moonlight was on his face. He looked so kind. In that moment, I knew the truth. It was not just a job for me anymore. I cared about the girls, and I cared about him too. I realized that I liked John very much. 6. The rumors. We came back from the beach trip. I felt very happy. The girls were happy too. We were like a real family. But this good feeling did not last for a long time. Soon, things started to feel different in our town. When I took Emma and Lucy to the park, other mothers looked at me in a strange way. They stopped talking when I came near. At the shop, the woman behind the counter was not friendly anymore. People started to whisper when they saw me with John. I did not understand why at first. Then I started to understand. The people in the town were talking about me. They were saying bad things. They said I was too close to John. They said I was only the nanny. One woman said, "She is very young. She probably wants his money." Another person said, "She is trying to take the place of their mother." These words were not true. They hurt me very much. Every whisper felt like a small stone hitting my heart. I tried to ignore them, but it was very difficult. One afternoon, I was in the garden. I was cutting some flowers for the house. Two women were walking on the street next to our garden fence. They did not see me. I heard them talking. "Did you see her with him?" one woman said. "She thinks she is the lady of the house now." The other woman laughed. "She is just a young girl looking for a rich man." My hands started to shake. I dropped the flowers. I wanted to run away and hide. I felt so small and sad. That night, I could not sleep. I thought about the women's words. I thought about John's sister. Maybe she was right. Maybe people would always talk. I did not want to make problems for John or the girls. I loved Emma and Lucy. I did not want people to say bad things about their family because of me. I thought about leaving my job. Maybe it was the best thing to do. The next day, John saw that I was quiet. My eyes were red from crying. After the girls were in bed, he came to the kitchen. He asked, "Daisy, what is wrong? You look sad." I did not want to tell him, but tears came to my eyes. I told him about the women in the garden. I told him what people were saying. He listened carefully. He looked at me with kind eyes and said, "Let them talk. I know the truth. That is all that matters." His words were simple, but they were very powerful. Suddenly, I did not feel so alone. His words gave me courage. I looked at him and felt a new kind of strength. The whispers of the town did not seem so loud anymore. What they thought was not important. The truth was here, in this house, with John and the girls. I knew then that things were changing between us. It was not just a job. Our feelings were growing. I decided to stay. I would not let rumors push me away from this family. 7. A big decision. It was a rainy evening. The rain hit the windows, making a soft, quiet sound. The house was peaceful because Emma and Lucy were already asleep in their beds. I was in the living room reading a book. I liked quiet evenings like this one. Suddenly, I heard the front door open. It was John. He was home from work very early. This was unusual for him. He walked into the living room. His hair was a little wet from the rain. He did not smile. He looked very serious, and I felt a little worried. Was something wrong at his work? "Is everything okay, John?" I asked. He did not answer my question right away. He just looked at me for a long moment. He looked nervous. He walked to the window and looked out at the dark, rainy garden. Then he turned back to me. His eyes were serious. "Daisy," he started. His voice was low. "We need to talk." My heart started to beat a little faster. "Okay," I said quietly. He came and sat in the chair across from me. "I was thinking a lot today," he said. "I was thinking about my life before you came here. This house was not a happy place. It was just a house. The girls were sad and angry. I was always tired and worried. He stopped for a moment. I listened and did not say a word. But you changed everything, he continued. You brought kindness into this house. You were so patient with my daughters. You showed them love when they needed it most. Now they are happy children. They laugh all the time. This house feels like a home because of you. I felt my face get warm. I did not know what to say to him. You are a strong person, Daisy. You did not leave when things were difficult. You stayed. You are also the kindest person I know. He took a deep breath. He looked directly into my eyes. You have changed my life, and you have changed my daughters' lives. He stood up from his chair and walked over to me. Then he got down on one knee. My eyes opened wide. I could not breathe. Daisy, he said, his voice shaking a little. Will you marry me? I was completely shocked. I could not speak. My heart was beating so fast, I thought it would jump out of my chest. Was this really happening? The man who was my boss, the serious man with the tired eyes, was asking me to be his wife. Tears started to fill my eyes. They were happy tears. I finally found my voice. Yes, I whispered. Yes, John, I will. A big, happy smile appeared on his face. He stood up and pulled me into a hug. I cried on his shoulder. I could not believe it. I was so incredibly happy. In this quiet house on a rainy night, my whole life changed forever. 8, from nanny to wife. The day of our wedding was sunny and warm. We did not want a big party. We wanted a small, quiet day with the people we loved. We decided to have the wedding in the garden behind our house. There were white chairs for our few guests. Flowers were everywhere. It was simple, but it was beautiful. Emma and Lucy were so excited. They wore pretty white dresses, just like mine, but smaller. Their hair was decorated with small, white flowers. They each carried a little basket of flower petals. They looked like 2 little angels. Before the wedding started, Lucy ran to me. She hugged my legs and looked up. You look beautiful, Mom, she said. It was the first time she called me that. My eyes filled with tears of joy. Then Emma came and held my hand. Yes, you do, Mom, she said with a big smile. My heart felt so full. I walked down the small path in the garden. John was waiting for me. He wore a dark suit and he looked very handsome. He smiled when he saw me, a smile that was just for me. I stood next to him and he took my hand. His hand was warm and strong. I looked at him, at Emma and Lucy, and at our small group of friends. In that moment, I knew I was in the right place. I was home. I thought about my first day in this house. I was just the nanny. I was a stranger. The house felt big and cold. The girls did not like me, and I often felt alone. I remember the difficult days and the quiet nights I cried in my room. I remember the whispers from people in the town. But I also remembered the first time Lucy hugged me and the first time John smiled at me. All of those moments brought me here. Now, everything was different. I was not the nanny anymore. I was standing here as John's wife. I was a part of this family. I looked at my new husband and my two new daughters. My life was full of love. I felt a deep happiness inside me, a happiness I never knew before. This was my new life, and it was perfect.